Hi, my name is Reuben Keeney. Welcome to my studio here in Donegal in Ireland. Today I'll be taking you through my new record, Get Hyped, which is being released on the 5th of November on Mixmash Records. So this track, obviously here's the project file with Get Hyped, which I'm releasing through Mixmash in the next few weeks. It was a really fun record for me to make. It's just got a lot of synths and crazy effects and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do first is just have a quick listen to it with you, and we'll break down the track and see what we did. So with this little sound here was when I was kind of going through different styles and trying to find my own sound. I had for 6 or 7 months I did a lot of kind of hip hop stuff, and I always liked this loop, but I never knew what to use it with. So turns out we used it with this track. It's just a really simple loop that I made with 3 or 4 kicks that I actually bounced down and just saved in my folder. So we stuck it in and it worked really well. And there's a little sound that just kind of keeps rising throughout the intro. I have it called Synth. But basically it's just a high pitched oscillator sound that seems to give the track a little bit of anticipation.
Let's go!
So the first thing to kind of keep in mind with this track is that it's really synth heavy. I mean, most of the track is based about the big crazy synths that are going on with it. For this track what we did was, it was almost completely silence based, because the track just came together really quickly. So if you can see here, we've already got 4 channels. These 4 channels are all silence channels, and they're all making up the actual synth bass, which I like to call it. So when we actually condense that down and have a listen to see what each thing does, it's quite simple really. So we've got I call it high bass. It's just, kind of accompanying the bass line itself. It's really a high pitched sound just to kind of give through that high end. Our second sound is the really bassy kind of meaty kind of sound, and then the third sound is like a rave bass synth kind of a sound. And then with another bass on top of that as well. Which is a really, really nasty kind of sound. So all together it sounds like this. So yeah, they sounded nice in the end. I took a little bit of EQing and different effects to get it all kind of work together, but we got there in the end. Also, what I have done with the kicks is, if you can hear through the intro, the kick is like really kind of subtle, but then as it kicks in it gets a lot louder and more, you can hear it a lot more. What we did there was, we have 2 kicks layered up together. So we've got this kick, which is like a low subby kind of a kick, which we use just for the intro, and then we've got a secondary kick, which is like a high end kind of a kick. So it sounds like this, which doesn't have as much low end, but together they combine nicely. A good tip always to use is when you're working with kicks, especially the low end kind of a kicks, it's really important that you put it on in mono, because what you don't want happening is that you don't want your kick to kind of be balanced from side to side. When you're in a club, you want it to be really just straight down the middle and right in your face. So for that, all we have to do in Logic is just open up the gain and just click mono, and what that does is it sterilises the track, so it just has it straight down the middle. And the same as that for all your bass lines. So yeah, so and we can hear in the background we've got like a big percussion kind of a sound, which again is quite simple. It was like a sound I layered up on a few previous tracks. that I was working on before, so you could probably hear it in some other tracks that I've worked on. It was just it was 3 or 4 different toms that I layered together and made them all fat, and it's a good way to kind of just stick them in there and see how they fit with the tracks, and 9 times out of 10 it works with my sound, so it's good just to keep it there. What else do we have? We've got a lot of claps going on, which you can hear throughout the middle of the track. Let's just hear it. So yeah, there's a lot of clap action going on. If you actually look, I think we've got about 3 or 4 channels full of claps, so let's just solo them and see what they all do. So we've got a really simple clap, we've got another added onto it, which is more kind of mid-end, and then we've got a third clap. So all together it combines a nice little effect. The one thing I would give you a tip on with claps is that sometimes it's quite good to put your claps a little bit off time. Not so much that it sounds really bad, but if you give the clap a little bit of just a tiny bit off the beat, like I've done here. As you can see, these 2 claps are bang on beat, but then this one is a little bit off. But actually, what that actually does is give it a bit of a flow, so it doesn't sound all robotic. So when we play that back, but without it, it would just sound like. So it really just kind of gives the track a little bit of a groove, you know. So it's a good tip to keep in mind. So bring it to the breakdown. I've been showing you before a little bit about the synth that I use, the big kind of melodic synth that I used already. So it goes into full effect in the breakdown, and I'm just going to show you exactly how I achieved that and how we layered it up properly. So as you can hear, there's a lot of different effects and stuff going on, and they're really simply just from different sample banks that my friends gave me or ones that I've made myself. So as you can hear there, we've got like a lower octave synth and then a higher octave synth. They're basically the same sound, but what we just did was we just brought up a different key, different octave, sorry. So this sound is like the chorus of the track and the breakdown itself. It's the hook of the breakdown, so it really had to be strong, and we had to make sure that the notes were just really bang on. So that was probably one of the things that took the longest to achieve, but I think we got there in the end. So as you can see there on the actual piano roll, you can see the notes and the way they've worked. I played it out on my MIDI keyboard, and then obviously because it was quite a fast riff, we had to kind of do a bit of automation and stuff to it. So we just made it all sound like our own, and we used the piano roll to just go over and back and make it all sound perfect. So when they all combine together, they sound really nice, the lead and the synths. We also have the little blippy synth from the start back in here again, just to give it a little bit of a high end, and also there seems to be a little bit of bass coming out of that, whatever way the synth was set up. So there's a little bit of bass coming out, which is quite nice. And then what we did when the break starts to kind of really go into full power, we sidechained all the sounds to the main kick drum, which is this one here. So you can see as the kick comes in, we sidechain everything, and it kind of starts to bounce up and down. To get a sidechain like that is really simple. You just open up your compressor in Logic, and then it's really easy. Actually, you use the sidechain function. You sidechain it to the kick drum. So as you can see here, we have all our kicks and everything, and our hats all labelled. So we just actually we sidechain it to the high kick for the best effect. After that, we bring the compressor threshold down a little bit. And this track is minus 17 decibels, but it could change. You also use the attack and the release to get a more pumping sound. I mean, the the ratio and the knee is just, I mean, for the ratio itself, it's just how much of actual side chain you want. So I mean, we wanted to be pretty full on with the side, with the ratio. So we brought it quite far up. It's at 871 at the minute. And when we brought the gain a little bit down, just so it doesn't interfere with the track. So as you can hear with this part, it starts to pitch up, like it just keeps pitching up and up and up to make a really kind of effective riser. What we just did with that was, you can see the actual automation line. Within Synth, we just used the pitch bend automation feature, and we just have it going from basically from one octave to another. But rather than just doing it with notes, we're using automation, so it just kind of slides up rather than kind of sounding fake. So if you listen to it back, we'll just show the actual channel. You can hear the actual sound keeps rising. And basically we did that with all the synths, so it sounds really effective when they're all together. This is the second synth. And after that, it just goes into a little bit of a drop.
Let's go!
And because there's a lot of different things going on with this track, we actually had to bus the tracks together, which is basically just grouping tracks into one channel. So I'll show you. Like over here, we've got 4 or 5 different channels. Sorry, 5 or 6. One is claps. So as we were showing earlier on in the video, we had layered like 4 or 5 different claps together. So rather than having to add plugins and EQ and sort of the big mess of having a million different channels in your mix, you can actually condense it down and bring it into separate kind of channels. So what we've done, we have all our claps in one channel. So all our claps are in one channel. So with the claps, we used a really cool plugin called the SSL EQ. It's part of the Waves plugin bank. There's guys that use it just for particular sounds, but I think it's good for an overall mix, whether it's snares or even a kick drum and a little bit of bass and stuff. So we used it for the claps, and I'm not sure if you can pick it up on the actual recording, but this is what it sounds like without the SSL on the mix. And then we may actually turn it on. So it not only brings the levels up a lot on the track, but it actually brings up the actual frequencies that we want it to push up, rather than just bringing the whole levels up and bringing up everything that we want. It's really good for killing out certain frequencies as well if you want to. You've got your high pass filter, which we've used, and we've just killed off the last 20 hertz of the track, which is really low end that you don't really need. And you can kill off as much as you want, really up until about 350. So yeah, it's a really good synth it's a really good plugin that we used for a lot of the channels. I mean, we used it for the hi-hats as well, maybe not quite as much, but we used it just to give it a little bit more kind of sparkle. So without it. And then the big percussion, which is the kind of the sound I like to really persevere through the track. And that's pretty much it with the mix. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any other questions with it. I hope this was a little bit educational for you. And I'm looking forward to having the track out on the 5th of November on Mixmash Records and by on Beatport. Thank you.